Well, lots of players online are sending their thank yous to Mo Salah. Here's Andy Robertson. Mohammed, thank you. 9 of the best years of our lives with amazing memories on and off the pitch. Watching you become the best at what you do and become one of the best to ever have worn the Liverpool shirt has been a joy to watch and be part of. Your mentality is second to none, and a lot of people could take note. You've pushed yourself every single day and always demanded more from yourself and others. A pleasure sharing the pitch with you for so long, but even more so being able to call you a friend. You deserve a send-off that reflects your status at LFC, the greatest, second to none. And Ibrahima Kanate said this: Mo Salah, you are the best of the best, my brother. Thank you for all the amazing moments we shared on and off the pitch. I wish you all the best in your next steps. King. I love both of these, and there were so many other things that were written to Mo Salah, but can we talk about the timing of all of this?
So messy.
Well,
messy.
Because I had to make sure.
You just gave him like so much plaudits in the first 15 minutes. Now you know about to be divided on this desk. I love it. Let's go. Let's go.
It is not often that Fabrizio Romano doesn't break a story. And this is a story that he didn't break, correct? He didn't break this.
That's not true. I don't really follow Fabrizio. I'm really following.
I don't think he didn't break
Tommy
it.
Bogut, that's who I follow.
Nobody broke this. So this was either really kept secret or they had the media making sure that they didn't say anything. What do you think about the timing of this? Do you think it's appropriate that it happened now? Would you have rather waited till the end of the season, earlier in the season?
No, I think Liverpool wanted to get ahead of the story. They wanted to break the news, kind of like they did with the Klopp situation. They are the ones that break the news. So it serves as a motivation for the rest of the season, kind of like Klopp's farewell tour. Like Klopp's farewell tour, it's going to be everybody saying goodbye to Salah wherever he plays. So I'm not surprised that when it came to an end, it was the club who took the onus in this announcement before any media got it out.
I like the timing. We're at the international break, right? So what happens? You make an announcement, everyone gets on an airplane in your club, and you go away. People aren't chattering about it in the dressing room, and there's not a lot of noise in the day-to-day for Liverpool, right? It'll settle down by the time they all get here, right? They'll all have had their conversations with Mo Salah. But I mean, what's the timing? Like at the beginning of the year, we're going to say, why did he do it at the beginning of the year? At the end of the year, why did he do it then? You got to make a decision some point to do it. At least this gives him. I was looking. They've got a minimum of 10 matches. 5 of those which will be at home. 1 will be a European night at home. And the last game of the season is Liverpool against Brentford, which is at Anfield on match day 38. So there's ample time for the home fans also to give him the plaudits that they will probably give him, and probably come up with a song by then that we'll hear forever, right? So I no problem with the timing.
I think the timing is, I agree. I agree with everything Tony said. I think the timing is actually perfect. Because of the sheer fact of, you now can build momentum, and Liverpool have lacked a bit of momentum all season. They've kick-started sometimes, and they've been through really rough periods of their season as well. And hopefully what you're hoping for is that feel-good factor, that farewell, and that is nothing will galvanise the fans and being unified together, like saying goodbye to a great and giving him the flowers on the way out. Now all of a sudden it's like, can we focus on the remaining trophy that we're in and see if or the remaining trophies that we're in, and see if we can do something special to say farewell to Mo, because of how much he's given to the club and his credit and his service and his excellence for a long period of time. So now it almost becomes your teammates, or everyone who raises 10%, because they want to give you the proper farewell that you deserve. And it's the final stretch of the season, right? It's the final international break. Everyone, as Tony said, gets on their flights and goes and disappears. But when you come back now, all of a sudden the focus for the last few remaining games is, all right, let's make sure we finish the season correct. And that's what they haven't had this year. I feel like they've been very disjointed. They've been good in spells, and then they haven't been good in spells. And it hasn't really been a collective focus together.
Right, when you think that they're back, they take a couple steps back.
Yeah.
So Liverpool against Galatasaray, that second leg performance was like vintage Liverpool in the Champions League. If you think about it, Mo Salah breaks 50 goals, becomes the first African to score 50 goals in the Champions League, scoring at the biggest stage. Anfield, at best, is getting 2 more nights of that. Quarterfinals, semifinals, and then potentially the final. So talk about galvanizing. Like, if you want to go out on a high.
But Nico, you know what those nights are like. Underneath the bright lights on a Tuesday and Wednesday when the music hits, and it's got that breeze that kind of hits across there because the stands are so open. Listen.
The applause in unison at Anfield under the lights, that was like, I feel like beyond the English media, I don't think that Anfield just gets the respect it deserves as like a place of Champions League aura.
Yeah.
And it definitely does. It's breathtaking. It's intimidating. It's like you said, you just look across the rows off of the stands and everybody clapping in unison. There's an energy that everybody knows something big is going to happen here.
Every time.
Well, Liverpool, they put out a statement as soon as Mo Salah posted that video saying Mohamed Salah is to bring the curtain down on his illustrious career with Liverpool FC at the end of the 2025-26 season. The forward has reached an agreement with the Reds that will see him close out a remarkable 9-year chapter at Anfield. And Salah has a stacked trophy cabinet, but also Liverpool going on to say with plenty still left to play for this season, Salah is firmly focused on trying to achieve the best possible finish to the campaign for Liverpool, and therefore the time to fully celebrate his legacy and achievements will follow later in the year when he bids farewell to Anfield. Do you guys think that, you said he deserves maybe a different type of song, a little bit more Mo Salah, but do you think that he deserves a statue at Anfield? Because right now there's 2 statues, right? It's Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley, so two managers right now, and they are supposed to build a Diogo Jota one.
Which is very on brand for Liverpool because their connection in terms of with their club, what they've been through as a club as well historically with Hillsborough, that tells me in terms of what their allegiances are. And there's a reason why they sing the You Never Walk Alone. So I believe the Diogo Jota statue is more than justified. I just think that there is probably people that would get a statue before Mo Salah. Even people below the list that I have. But I think if you look at Liverpool's theme, it's not quite like the Crypto.com arena. They're not just going to put any icon who's been there. Right. I think they stick with kind of managerial legends who have been there for a long period of time. That's why you have the 2 icons stand outside the front. And there's something to be said about leadership in that community. They could talk about the icons, individual players, but leadership. That's why a lot of their former players want to come back and manage, because I think it's a combination of the 2 CVs that kind of equate you to getting the ultimate status.
So how do you explain, not saying that you're wrong, but like how do you explain, this is what I was getting at, that perhaps Steven Gerrard, who's lower on your list than Salah, deserves a statue first before
Very different connection. And there's nothing wrong with what I'm about to say. Steven is a local boy. And there is nothing to be like, that cannot be slept on, in fact, because Mo Salah inspires a lot of kids around the world that I can play for one of the biggest clubs and I can represent it and also escalate who I am as a person in that community. But Steven Gerrard is that community, and there's a very different feel to walk into Anfield as a kid, supporting that club, then playing for that club, breaking through, that's enough. Then captaining that club, being one of the youngest captains ever, then bringing success in some of the most iconic nights. There's tears to it. And we can talk about Mo Salah and delivering that Champions League and the league titles, but there is nothing like a local boy.
Yeah. And our very own Jamie Carragher, he also wrote a piece in the Telegraph this morning talking about Salah's legacy, saying Mohamed Salah's imminent Liverpool departure marks not just the end of an extraordinary era for the club, Liverpool's loss is English football's loss. In the pantheon of overseas attacking players to have excelled in England, only Thierry Henry eclipses Salah's output and consistency. He also went on to say, while many will argue the merits of players like Ronaldo, Hazard, Zola, Bergkamp, or Cantona, none of them produce the same devastating numbers as consistently season after season as the Egyptian. In all-time Premier League 11, Salah is an automatic inclusion in the front 3 alongside Henry and Ronaldo. What do you guys think of what Jamie had to say about Salah? JD?
Yeah. All of the flowers, they're all opinions, aren't they? I mean, they're all opinions. You're talking about choosing between some of the all-time greats that's ever played in the Premier League. But I do think Mo Salah stands alone because of he's been here before, and I feel like that's sometimes forgotten. Like you had a Premier League club who had him, had an opportunity to utilise him, and decided to sell him and push him on. And he had to go and rebuild his career somewhere else in Serie A and then come back. And the rebirth, in terms of what he'd done in a Liverpool shirt, must make Chelsea fans just sit there sometimes and think to themselves, what could have been? And his greatness and sustained greatness for the better part of a decade is sometimes, I think, overlooked because we kind of just look at, 25 goals in a season as whatever, but like, it isn't whatever. Like, it is a sustained level of incredible productivity, and he's going to go down as an all-time great.
That rebirth was really a transformation, because what were the expectations on Mo Salah when he leaves Chelsea, goes to Basel and Liverpool, Basel and Roma. He arrives to Liverpool, and sure, he's maybe the reject that didn't do well at Chelsea. He then became one of the best players, if not at his heyday, the best player in the
Sort
world.
of a Kevin De Bruyne type of
Same
feel,
thing.
right?
Similar, right?
Yeah.
So the way that Klopp was able to transform them, even to be honest, like, okay, Sadio Mane was good at Southampton.
Oh, he was excellent.
Right? There was potential there. Bobby Firmino was coming from Hoffenheim, like, a big question mark there. Klopp assembled these guys, and like Jamie says, devastating, right? Devastating.
Yeah.
They were the three of those guys together. He transformed Mo Salah, and then I just want you to listen to this. 32 goals, 11 assists in his first season, and he goes double digits for the rest of his Liverpool career in the Prem, except for this season. And the lowest double digits is 19 goals in a season.
I'm also really happy for him for different reasons. What you spoke about there in that relationship with Klopp, sometimes we can just associate, oh, this team was good because of this manager. Him winning under two different managers now, I think kind of puts him into a different type of relationship. I mean, the goals that he's scored since he joined Liverpool is crazy, because look at some of the names that he's on there. These are Centurions, by the way, so, and only domestically. That really does showcase how good he's been for a long period of time. But also I'm really happy from a personal angle, because he lifted the trophy in a moment the first time round where there were no fans, there was no energy, everyone was in a very different place in the world in COVID. And to have that moment in front of his home fans, which he has produced for a number of years and a number of seasons, is as important to him personally in terms of his legacy as anything else, because some people still have an asterisk next to that COVID year because, you know, there were some really obscure results, home fans, away fans, whether you want to take in those factors. But he did it in normal conditions and he did it in obscure conditions. And that, for me, really showcases that there is no question mark as to whether or not you're an all-time legend and an all-time great. You are arguably the best African player that's ever played in the Premier League.
But listen, there's a lot of speculation of where Mo could end up. There's some people saying that this has been put out because he knows his next destination, but his agent is saying he doesn't know his next destination. So here's a look at the odds for where Mo Salah could end up, because it's time for our new Zillow new home search, brought to you by Zillow. Someday starts today. So here's a look at the potential destinations. Of course, Saudi Pro League has the best odds here. It's a league that he's been linked to a lot, followed then by MLS. If you look at MLS, a good landing point for him, and most obvious one would be San Diego, because one of their owners is Egyptian. So there's an Egyptian connection there.
Yeah, of course. I understand the relationship, a billionaire owner who wants to turn around and probably put a high-profile person in their position.
There's a DP slot open there at San Diego now as well. So just putting that out there. Mo Salah
Smiling for a reason, Claudia? Just asking.
Hey, San Diego, one of the best cities in the country.
You want to leak? You want to drop something? You want to drop a scoop or anything?
Nah, I don't have anything. I'm going to leave that to Tommy Scoops. Don't worry. Barcelona, PSG, they're also thrown into there. So you know where I want him to end up. MLS, San Diego. Tony, what are you thinking is realistic, though, for him?
I certainly think if it comes down to just solely money, he probably goes to the Saudi League, right? The Saudi Pro League. MLS is certainly an option. It's been discussed before. San Diego actually has been the team that's been discussed and rumored for quite a while. You mentioned they got rid of Chucky Lozano, right? Which is about 30 million or so off the books total. They have money to spend there. It would be fascinating for him to come to Major League Soccer. I don't know that he'll go anywhere other than sort of the bigger cities, if you will. I don't know. Can you squeeze him in Inter Miami? I don't know. They've been squeezing everybody in.
Kansas City?
Yeah.
I got a question. Who has his discovery rights, or does anybody have them?
Yeah, I think they got rid of discovery rights, right? Didn't they get rid of
Full
them?
stop?
I think so. Or you can only have them for like a short period of time, you know? So I don't know. Maybe someone would have taken a flyer on them for sure, but I don't know who has them. The PSG one just doesn't make sense. I get the ownership and all of that because they want to go young, right? And sort of Parisian. They broke the mold with Kvaratskhelia coming in halfway through the year last year. Barcelona, I don't know, what do they have? Pull palankas, right? There's got to be another lever they've got to pull. So I mean, there's who knows. I'm with you. I wanted to come to Major League Soccer, and I would think those are the Saudi Pro League and MLS are the two sort of more logical. Was Newcastle on there?
Newcastle
I don't
was on
think he
there.
stays in the Premier League.
I don't
right?
think he stays in Europe.
I think Premier League's over, right?
Yeah, I think
Can I have a pipe dream?
Go on.
What's your pipe dream, Nico?
For sure, he's not going to go to Argentina. But how epic would it be to see a guy like this play in a Copa Libertadores?
Oh my God!
Brazil's got a lot of money.
That's why, like, and if I'm trying to be, if my pipe dream is going to be as realistic as possible, it's going to be somewhere in Brazil. Ooh. Not going to happen, though.
Did you see him?
Copa going to Bolivia.
I
You'll never be able to leave his house.
Carnival? Like Carlo Ancelotti?
Oh gosh, the Latino. Look at the light green.
Mo Salah playing Copa Libertadores,
Let me just
bro.
explain.
That Latino flair?
I think at this point his European tenure of playing football, professional football, I think is finished. I think he's probably even going to go to the Middle East, or he's going to come on this side of the world. And it just depends on what the pay package looks like in terms of from an ambassador role, because a lot of these players now of the status of a Mo Salah, and I do kind of put him in that iconic status, are looking at ownership. They're looking at where they can get themselves into a boardroom, into an executive role, into whether it's minority shares or whatever else. So he's one of the greatest players of a generation. If you look at a lot of the greatest players, not just in football, but across the board, what do they want to do now? They want to position themselves where they can be ambassadors.
That's
they
where
can be earning executive positions and
MLS
into shaking hands.
has a little bit more leverage over Saudi Pro League. Well, that's how they offered Messi, because you're never going to beat Saudi Pro League for money. Impossible.
Impossible.
Impossible. There's
But it's
no
whether or
way.
not you want the equity or you want the cash. That's like a double-brainer right now. Do you want the
But
long-term goal?
sometimes
Do you
the
want-
equity doesn't even size up to the
that.
cash. Like, that's
Yeah.
how much money Saudi's moving, right? But it's still enticing, right? It at least makes you evaluate, you know, living in America, living in Saudi. Saudi gives me more money. America gives me a little bit of equity. This is the conversation that
And
Salah's
lifestyle
gonna
has
have.
to come into this as well. You know, that was a big thing for Messi to come here. He keeps talking about it. I mean, you see pictures of him just hanging out with his kids and
Grocery
going to grocery
store.
stores. You know, like all that stuff is really important. Mo Salah is never going to starve for money, right? That doesn't mean he doesn't want what he's worth still, right, to a club. But it's not as if he'd be starving, right? If he came to Major League Soccer, I'm sure they'd make it work if it was a possibility.
I think culture is also a massive thing because his religion is super important to him. So that's going to be a deciding factor. Whether if he comes to North America, he's going to have a very different experience than if he goes to the Middle East, naturally because of the impact of Islam in the Middle East in comparison to the impact of Islam on this side of the world. And he'll have to really understand in terms of how much work do I want to do both on and off the field as an ambassador, as a leader in my community. And there's other factors that go into it. So there's a great position to be in. It's like choosing between apple and pears and knowing that they both want you and knowing that you can both. But he's got to kind of ask himself the personal question, which is why I feel like these reports are fair. I don't think he's made a decision yet because he's still got to work out as to what he wants off the field before working out what he wants on it.
this is 100% a personal decision.
Yeah.
Like, it's about lifestyle. It's about the next step in your career. And he deserves to take his time and decide what's best for him, his family. He has one daughter, right? She's super young.
I think he has
or another two
he has
kids.
2 children, yeah.
Still, it's like, you know, you're going to be moving. It's going to be just culturally wherever you go. You're either going to go to Islam's Mecca or perhaps halfway across the globe.
Where he's activist.
San
He's an
Diego.
activist and very proud of his religion. So he's going to be knowing that he has to speak up for certain things and want to be involved in certain things. So it just depends on how he kind of looks at both sides of the coin. Both have great iconic moments, and his history is already cemented though, and with what he's done.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.